Welcome to the smiling coast of Africa.
Stand in the rain as the clouds go gray. From the roars and the earth sings. Season's just beginning. Sunlight it hides as the clouds make way. For the pouring of my blessings, I will not be afraid. I see it now, I understand, I know.
Career female politician is there. They take our position and give to somebody that has been selected.
Without economics, there is no leadership anywhere. It makes you weak. Then you have to listen to what the men say because you have no money to put in when they're making the major decisions.
We have transformational leaders all over the world, but Africa seems to be lacking in this model. We've seen politics as a game. Politics might be a game, leadership is not a game.
You talk about culture, you talk about religion. These are the two areas we really have to see what we can do. We are privileged because our parents went contrary to the norm and got us where we are.
So your being here, you represent the processes that you've gone through and the development that you've gone through to reflect that a poor woman can be what you and me are today.
I keep on saying African women must be Africans by practicing Africanism, by carrying out Africanism and doing what is Africanism.
Once again, it's time for me to grow. For every prayer and every tear I've sown, Lord of the harvest knows I'm reaping joy 100-fold. The land is green, it's green.
Welcome to the smiling coast of Africa.
First of all, can you introduce yourselves and tell us what you do with AWLO? Ladies first, maybe. Oh.
Good morning. My name is Edith Yobukeri. I'm Executive Director for AWLO.
Okay.
And my name is Elisha Atai. I'm the founder, CEO of AWLO.
Okay. Can you tell us what AWLO was set up for specifically to do? I know it has something to do with women, but what exactly does it do for women or with women?
Well, AWLO is the African Women in Leadership Organization. It's a non-profit organization on the back of a conference we have annually, the West African Women in Leadership Conference, which started in 2009. And basically, it was set up as an organization to have membership of women leaders across Africa. And basically, it's really around enhancing our leadership potential, because the objective is that we set a platform around equality or gender equality for women in Africa and push the empowerment agenda for women in Africa.
Okay, Elijah, is it that there's a certain gap or deficiency when it comes to women in leadership position? Is that why AWLO was created?
Definitely. Like he said, in 2009, actually was when we started, but we started with West African Women in Leadership Conference. We discovered that women have a lot of potentials, but the problem was, that's why people ask, why is it the man that is spearheading this? Mm-hmm. I saw that if we bring women leaders across the continent together, I believe they will do more than what they're doing right now, because we have a lot of them individually who are doing so well, and they just feel it should be there. There's no platform for them to mentor other ones. There's no platform for them to interact and see how they can sharpen one another. That's why we had to graduate from being West Africa, the last conference in 2010. Yeah. 2010, 2011, then we now start up African Women in that organization last year. Just to bring them together to harness that potentials which all of them have under a platform.
And do you see the potentials being harnessed? Do you see the network building since you started this in 2009?
Yes, most definitely. I mean, we use examples around. Before that, we talk about women's leadership. We realize and we acknowledge that women have been leaders across the centuries. I mean, African women are the strongest, probably the most courageous women, I would say, globally. So we have examples of great women leaders across Africa. And our position is that we all come from this legacy of all these great women. Then surely there's a lot of things that we can do as a collective. Because remember what Elisha said, that individuals are breaking glass ceilings all around the place, and we're so proud of those. But it's really around bringing us in as a collective and making sure that we leave a strong legacy for the next generation of African women leaders who are coming up. And we see that because in 2010 in the Abuja conference, what came out of that, because we talk about the MDGs around women's participation in politics, for instance, and through that an initiative was formed, Women for Change Initiative, and that came out directly out of the conference, and that is a huge force now. And you can actually see in countries like maybe Nigeria, where you actually see the more women in politics, more women senators, more women deputy governors. So you see all these things, and some of those women were actually even at the conference for this year. So you see those things. I mean, in Ghana, for instance, after last year's conference, what was heartening was that we had a group of young women who are now really into mentoring, peer mentoring, as well as accessing the mentoring opportunities that are within the organization. So we see those things, and we have a communique each year which defines strategies and action plans going forward, and then we measure ourselves on those communiques. We also have programs across the year for even ICT literacy for women, because it's really around understanding what environment we live in now, how we harness everything around us to push our agendas forward. So I think, yes, we have tangible proof anyway.
When I hear the fact that, African women don't understand technology, they don't understand science, I say to people, it's rubbish. Because cooking is science. It's chemistry. Cooking is science. Going to the farm, doing farming is science. Harvesting is science. How you store yam when you harvest is science. Your water, the kinds of things that you could use, the herbs that you could use to treat your water, it's all science. But guess what? Who has all this traditional knowledge? It is women.
This year's conference, tell us, it was in the Gambia. What were you looking at achieving when you decided to hold this year's conference? I know you touched on issues concerning politics, education, finance. What exactly did you set out to achieve for this year's, which is the fourth actually? This
fourth annual conference. Well, the theme was empowering for impact.
Okay.
And our themes across the last years have been around building ourselves up, women as nation builders, and the yes we can attitude. Now we're saying that right now we need to empower, and not just empower, but empower for impact. So that was the theme that ran across every single presentation that we had, and we covered all spheres of life. So we covered the judiciary, finance, politics, education, health, and then we even had a session around wellness of a woman, in terms of the complete woman, to say that you can be a great person at your job or whatever, but you need to start with self.
You definitely needed to have that.
Yes, and that was great.
That was great.
Even down to keep fit and aerobics in the morning and things like that.
Okay.
So that's how it. But the theme of the conference had to run throughout every single presentation that we did, and it's really about empowering for impact. And our actions from the communique are all around that.
I want to add my voice to Fatoumata when she talked about beginning a African Women Leadership Fund. It is so important. Without economics, there is no leadership anywhere. It makes you weak. Then you have to listen to what the men say because you have no money to put in when they're making the major decisions. This fund can be supported by all African women in the different countries so that they can be used to help, whether it's female parliamentarians or women in business. We need to empower others.
With a common vision based on shared values, individually and collectively address the commitments, the fulfillment of the commitments made. As I look across this room, I am impressed to see such a gathering of women from across the continents that holds prominent positions in their own countries.
Our focus in this conference, and I want us to leave with this, is that when we leave here, we will no longer be transactional leaders, but we'll be transformational leaders. We have transformational leaders all over the world, but Africa seems to be lacking in this model. We've seen politics as a game. Politics might be a game. Leadership is not a game. So I want women leaders to leave from this conference, not just to be politicians, but to be leaders. So that in and out of office, I see you and I say, Your Excellency. Because you still remain excellent anyway, because it was not the office that made you excellent. It is what you brought to the office that made the office excellent. I want that to be your goal, not winning an election. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you are, SSA commissioner, leave your mark. When you are going to let people talk about you, this is the policy, this is how that policy affected my life. You might deny a woman a platform. You might deny a woman a microphone. She might not have a voice to the nation. You cannot stop me from whispering to my child. I will whisper to my child, I will whisper to my sister. The power of a woman is a power of influence. Someone said yesterday that the woman is the neck. They stop there. The head turns wherever the neck turns it. Every man in Africa is listening to one woman or the other. It might not be his wife, but it's somebody. Yeah. There is a favored spouse. There's somebody is listening to at every time. Some men are listening to their mothers till now. Therefore, at the end of the day, the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. If we will use it properly. So women, we must become the change. We must be transformed to carry value. When we have value to deliver, it's like Grandma said, the men will listen to us. They respect her. They respect a lot of women in this room for this same reason. You are delivering value. I will close with the words of Lao Tzu. To lead people, walk beside them. As for the best leaders, the people do not notice their existence. The next best, the people honor and praise. The next, the people fear. You can't talk. And the next, the people hate. When the best leader's work is done, the people say, we did it ourselves.
I want to share with you an experience from the international partners who are always asking women like you when you go to conferences, why are you here? What are you representing? And I'm saying to them, I'm here because I've gone through the trials and the tribulations of coming from a poor family. Do you want to see me in a cage, poor and not dressed well, underdressed, or maybe with torn dresses? Or you want to see where I have come from that cage to the woman that I am, to show that development has worked. So you're being here, you represent the processes that you've gone through and the development that you've gone through to reflect that a poor woman can be what you and me are today. So my response to you is, I'm hoping we are bringing the issues of the poor women to this conference and taking back that message to the women in the community and our stakeholders that we represent. If you are not doing that, I don't know then why you are here.
And one thing I would like us to depart from here, holding sacred in our hands, is the issue of gender-based violence as the major disempowering thing to women. A lot of women, be it in politics, be it in governance, we need to appreciate and understand the dynamics of gender-based violence, violence against women, as it impacts on women, disempowers them, and ultimately does not allow them to bring out their best. So gender-based violence is not just a consequence, it's a causative factor, which we need to understand. And also the issue of we as women being united on issues that affect us. We may take it, but I think it's one big issue. You know, I remember years back, during Nigeria's first republic, immediately after the military rule, we took to the Federal House of Reps a bill on violence against women. And some women, elected women who were there, I don't want to mention names, you know, a particular one in the Senate, told us that she was not elected in only by women. That women are not her constituency, you know. And soon after that, something happened to her. A male colleague slapped her. And that slap was not because of what she said, but because she was a woman. After all, I have 3 of you at home. Just because you've missed your road and found yourself here, you are talking to me. Yes, that's basically the idea behind it. Studies have shown that for 3 out of the 5 times a woman stays away from work, she's staying away because of domestic violence, honestly speaking. And that is what businesses are paying for. Time, the cost of gender-based violence, violence against women on businesses. Thank you very much.
A fantastic conference. I want to really commend you for doing this Women in Leadership. I have learned so much from being here the last couple of days. I am so inspired that I actually have so many ideas that I want to take from this organization in starting a leadership and mentorship program here in the Gambia. What I challenge most of these organizations, especially the ones in the Gambia, if you are representing women, you have to get to their level. You cannot get there with your car and looking good in your nice clothes. I want the Bureau, I challenge the Bureau to have a vision, to have a goal, and measure yourself on how successful you are. Thank you.
Who are we empowering here? We are already empowered. It is the farmers that we should empower now. Are we ready to go back to the field? If those politicians, those women who want to stand as politicians and you are neglecting the grassroots, you are not ready. You are not yet there. Those people have to be sensitized very well in order to be part of whatever we are deciding or strategizing here.
I'm interested in the fund you spoke about.
Yes.
For instance, you know, in Ghana here we have women trying to enter political office. They are not able to, all sorts of challenges, sometimes financial, sometimes family and all that. And there's always the talk about let's encourage our women to enter politics. How can anyone, first of all, is the fund open to any and every woman, or unless they are members of AWLO? And how do they get to access this fund? Yeah.
Well, basically, this came out. This is one of the action points that came out of this conference, and it's interesting because it was instigated in the first instance by a really special lady, Senator Itagiwa, of Nigeria, a seasoned politician, and then backed by members who stood up, or delegates who stood up and said, yes, 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 we have to do this. And the way it works is that we would, it's really at its infancy, so we're going to have to work with the fund company to help us, because everything has to be done in a very independent manner. It's not owned by AWLO, although AWLO becomes a custodian in a sense, but it's not owned by us, so we cannot be accessing it. Yeah. But an independent fund company will work with us. Now, the idea is that we approach, and some of the businesses were even at the conference, we approach certain businesses who start inputting into it in terms of building the fund. In terms of accessibility to the fund, initially the idea is around the membership of the organization, because we have people from all walks of life in the organization. And even someone like Senator Tagiwa mentors a lot of women in politics individually. Okay. She does that individually. So the idea is that now her efforts are added on to other people's efforts and become more like a general effort.
So I know you just finished this year's conference, but what are you already planning for next year's conference? How is the future going to look like moving forward for AWLO?
So bright. What happened in Banjul is a clear testimony of where we're going. And the good thing is that women are beginning to understand the vision, some of the women, and we're looking at us making sure that every country is represented next year. And in 4 months' time, the venue will be announced.
For the next?
For the next, yeah. Why we didn't announce it? Normally, what we do at the end of the conference, we make sure we announce that we're going to
the next country.
But this year, we had over 5 countries,
nominated.
All of them want to host it. So we want to take time, make sure that the logistics of getting there, everything is put in. They have the facilities that will, because we're expecting over 1,000 delegates next year. We want to make sure that we have all this thing on ground. We're going to visit all the countries, and make sure that they have what it takes to host these women.
So your final comments on AWLO for the future and even what you're doing for this year?
Well, my final ones are that we've had a great last 4 years of conference, and the recent conference we just had for me was fulfilling. I learned a lot as well, and I sort of enhanced myself as well. So I'm excited about what the future holds. We have a lot planned for AWLO for the next few years, and I don't see why we can't be the explosive organization that we potentially can be. So I'm looking forward to that. Okay. And I really encourage everyone like me, whoever, please, just go on the website, check it out, call us, and be part of it. Let's make a difference. All right. I think that's what I'd say.
Yeah, on the final note, I just want to appreciate the media houses, for being gender friendly. Yes. I really want to appreciate, because I see that we flow in the same direction. We're in the spirit together. And I want to thank you for your support, and I hope, I believe, and I know it's going to be a continent where women will take their rightful leadership position. Together with our men as well. Together with, let's say it's not a women's, whatever. They are the men. We give you the support. We give you the ladder, the platform to bring out that potential that you got. Yeah. But it's about equality, and let's look at all the platforms that we put in place for our girl children, for our young women, for our old women as well. Just everything. I think we thank the men, but we want to go higher.
All right, Elisha, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Nee. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Welcome to the smiling coast of Africa.
Coochie, yeah, I understand. You tell me coochie, yeah. Oh baby, hey, oh mommy.
Who can my love, who can my the kind love where I get it for you every day and night. They sharp me like Scotty. Love, the kind love where I get it for you every day and night. They shock me like Scotty. As long as the sun shines upon the earth, my love for you no go die, yo. In as much as what we try for seas, feelings no go dry for my mind, yo. As long as me and you still the breed, nothing go fit, tear us apart, though. Girl, I just can't stop loving you, baby. I love you. Check it, baby, you too fine, oh. You're sweet like the taste of a fresh palm wine, oh. Try it, this love, you know, blind, oh. My future.
Welcome to the smiling coast of Africa.